Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honor to come before you regarding the right of a member of Parliament to introduce an SO 31. Mr. Speaker, in looking at our policy manual, O'Brien and Bosch, page 60, it says that the classic definition of parliamentary privilege is parliamentary privilege is the sum of the particular rights enjoyed by each house collectively and each member of each house individually, without which they could not discharge their functions. Well, Mr. Speaker, what are those functions? What are those responsibilities? That's found on page 212 of O'Brien and Bosch. It says, members sit in the House of Commons to serve as representatives of the people who have elected them to office. The Member of Parliament represents his constituency through service in the House of Commons. That is the ultimate responsibility of us as members of Parliament, each having the great honor to represent their communities. I'm honored to represent the community of Langley.
Hear, hear.
Mr. Speaker, it goes on page 213 of O'Brien and Bosch to say, for example, the privilege of freedom of speech is secure. The privilege of freedom of speech is secured to members not for their personal benefit, but to enable them to discharge their functions of representing their constituents. And there it says it again, Mr. Speaker, the importance of having that privilege, freedom of speech, to represent constituencies. On page 62 of O'Brien and Bosch, Mr. Speaker, it says, privilege essentially belongs to the House, to yourself, Mr. Speaker. It belongs to the House as a whole. Individual members can only claim privilege insofar as any denial of their rights or threat made to them would impede the functions of the House. So it clearly says that we each have responsibilities and we have privileges and rights to make sure that we fulfill the responsibility of representing our constituencies. Mr. Speaker, it also goes on in page 82 of O'Brien and Bosch, says that any disregard or attack on the rights, powers, and immunities of the House and its members, either by an outside person or body or by a member of the House, is referred to as a breach of privilege. So, Mr. Speaker, last Thursday, it was my turn to present an SO 31. I was ready and prepared to introduce the SO 31. Now, some, Mr. Speaker, would ask, what is an SO 31? And it's in SO, Standing Orders. Clause 31 states that a member may be recognized under the provisions of Standing Order 30.5 to make a statement for no more than 1 minute. The Speaker, yourself, Mr. Speaker, the Speaker may order a member his seat if, in the opinion of the Speaker, improper use is made of the Standing Order. Now, it refers to Standing Order 30.5, and that states the days and the times that SO 31s can be made. But back to SO 31, it's clear, Mr. Speaker, that each member in this House of Commons has the right, the privilege, of presenting an SO 31 on a rotational basis that gives each member in this House equal opportunity to represent their constituents. That has been managed by yourself, Mr. Speaker, for those that are independent members of this Parliament. Those that are members of an official party, myself being a member of the Conservative Party, we in an organized way, and the Liberal Party and the NDP Party, in an organized way, these parties provide you with a list of those that are going to be making SO 31s. It provides a coordinated way, but what has to be guaranteed is, Mr. Speaker, is that each member of this House has equal opportunity to make an SO 31. If at any time an SO 31, that right, that privilege to make that on an equal basis in this House, if that at any time is removed, I believe I've lost my privilege, the right that I have in this House, an equal right. So I was scheduled, as I said, on March the 20th from 2 to 2:15 to make an SO31. 15 minutes prior to that time, I was notified that my turn to present the SO31 had been removed. The reason I was given was they didn't approve of the topic. But there is no reason, Mr. Speaker, why an SO31 should be removed. The only person that can remove that is yourself, according to Standing Order 31. That authority to remove an SO31 from any member of this House is solely in your hands. And the guiding force is under SO31. And again, I read it, a member may be recognized under the provisions of Standing Order 30.5 to make a statement for no more than 1 minute, so it can't go over 1 minute. It could be less. And then the Speaker may order a member to resume his or her seat if, in the opinion of the Speaker, improper use is made of the standing order. So that is only in your authority, Mr. Speaker, to ask a member to return to his seat if you feel it's not in order, the SO31 that's being made. So I believe, Mr. Speaker, that my privilege as a member to present an SO31 was infringed by the actions that happened on March the 20th. This is my earliest opportunity to present my question of privilege to you today. I believe it's not an issue specifically for me. I've experienced a removal of my right, my privilege, but it's a question for how this House operates. The question for you is, should every member have that equal right? Well, yes, it's clear that they do. So how is it being managed? Is it being managed in a way that members could have that right removed? Well, yes, I've experienced that, and others have experienced that too. And so I'm going to ask you to rule the matter prima facie, a question of privilege. I'm also going to reserve the right to speak again to respond to comments that may be coming from others. Mr. Speaker, the Canadian Parliament is based on rules and responsibilities and privileges. And each of us have that responsibility to represent our communities, people that elected us. We need to have those then rights to be ensured that we have the opportunity to properly represent our communities. Mr. Speaker, I look forward to your comments, and I thank you for this opportunity to bring this to the House attention. Thank you.